Hey everyone, Fluff here, coming back at you with another Dragon Ball deck profile. I get to do the intro today since Bancroft isn't around. He usually takes those for himself, but today it's my turn, and we're doing the green Ginyu Force deck from set 10. Now, I've been kind of thinking what I was going to take to our local store championships. I had been kind of tossing up between this or Sen Shenron, but I really think I'm going to lean into green Ginyu for that. So, this isn't the deck that I'm going to run for the store championship. This has got a little bit more of a techie variety that I would use in the deck. So I'm going to give you this. And in the comments below, I will post, actually, if I win the store championship, I will post that variant as a video itself. So, but anyway, before I get into this deck profile, want to encourage you to subscribe if you're not already following us. If there's anything you want to see, let us know in the comments below. We're always happy to oblige. Well, Bancroft's happy to oblige. I usually just do whatever I want to do. So, on the front side, Ginyu's got a auto. It has this on both front and back. So when this card swings, you look at the top card of your deck. If it's a Ginyu Force with an energy cost of 2, you can play it, then draw one card. An interesting ruling on that. If the card revealed is not a 2-drop Ginyu Force, the deck is shuffled, and then you draw one card. So even if you don't get to play the Ginyu Force, say on turn 1, you just want to swing to try to get the draw. If it's a Ginyu Force, great, bonus. If not, you just get a draw. He awakens at 4 life, or when you have 4 Ginyu Force cards in the battle area. I couldn't remember if it's said with different names, but it's just 4 Ginyu Force battle cards. You draw 2, awaken. On the backside, he's got that same auto. When it swings, reveal the top card, get yourself a draw. Play the card if it's a Ginyu Force. But then he also has an activate main, or activate battle, pay 1 green, choose one of your green Ginyu Force cards, and it gains 10,000 for the battle. So, not bad on the backside. We're really using it for just that play draw effect. However, it's a Ginyu Force deck, but I got to attribute best card, MVP of the deck, to Demigra, Unison of Sorcery. Want to give a little bit of credit to Eggman here. Eggman talked a lot about how Demigra is probably one of the best Unisons in the game, and I can't disagree with that after having played it. So easy enough. Demigra's permanent. If this card would lose a marker from your opponent's attack, you may add 1 card from your life to your hand instead. So it's not crit like the starter deck Frieza. It actually goes to your life. But alternatively, if they hit it with a dual attack or a double strike, you can take 2 instead of losing 2 markers. Or triple strike, you can take 3. Though usually in those situations, we're probably at a point where I might just let the Unison die. On the plus 1. Activate main, he gains 10,000 power, making him a 15,000. So it's kind of like having a permanent 15,000 card on your side of the field, at least for the first few turns anyway. The -3 gives you a little bit of field control. You choose one of your opponent's battle cards, KO it, then choose one of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost of 3 or less, ignoring barrier, KO that card as well. So we do run 4 of those. I think like mulligan turn 1 is to definitely find one of these Unisons. You want to be paying this on turn 1. It is a specified cost of 1, so this is the preferred turn 1 play. Alternatively, if you don't see the Demigra, this is another alternative turn 1 play, but Ginyu Helix Strike. He's a double striker if you ever have to play him, though we don't play enough yellow to really play him outright. So his activate main, 1 energy, place this card in the drop area from your hand. If your leader's a Ginyu Force card, which it is, then you get to look at the top 3 cards of your deck, choose 1 Ginyu Force card among them, add it to your hand. Then if you did, you place the rest. You get to add 1 Ginyu Force among them, add it to your hand. The rest go on the bottom of your deck in any order. If you added a card to your hand this way, you get to play a Ginyu Force with an energy cost of 2 or less. So we'll play this, get the 3. Say we find a birder. We'll add the birder to hand, but we had a Raccoon in hand as well. We'll be able to grab the birder, and free play the Raccoon, which lets us free play the Birder. But you'll see that, so we run 4 of these. Basically want to activate these as much as possible. So when you see them, pretty much use them. It sucks using them blindly because they can whiff. If you don't add a card to your hand, you don't get to play a Ginyu Force from your hand, and it's just kind of a wasted 1 energy thing. Getting into the Ginyu Force package themselves, we've got Guldo's Psycho Psychic. He's got an activate main. If your leader card is a Ginyu Force card, you can discard this card from your hand, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, place them on top or bottom of the deck in any order. So that could be a turn 1 way to make sure that our leader effect doesn't miss, or making sure that Ginyu Helix Strike doesn't miss. But his activate main, once he's on the field, once per turn, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, and then you get to rearrange them in any way and replace them on the top and or bottom. So unlike Tournament of Power, which is top or bottom, this you get to kind of mix and mash. If there's cards that I just don't need at the current game state, I'll throw them to the bottom. If there's things that I want to see, I'll put them at the top in the order that I want to see them. And sometimes it's like, if there's something that I know that I want that's not a Ginyu Force, I will put it under a Ginyu Force, so when I swing with leader, I'll get the reveal, play, and then draw 1 card to get that next card. So Guldo is probably one of the better of the Ginyu Forces. Next on that list, the next member of the Ginyu Force is Jace, second in command. Jace, I do play 4 of those as well. Jace has an effect when this card attacks. You look at the top 3 cards of your deck, choose 1 Ginyu Force card among them, place it in your hand, then you place the rest of the cards in the top or bottom of the deck in any order. So it kind of also has that resetting and restacking effect, where if I saw 2 Ginyu Force there, I can add 1 to hand, get the other one set for the leader's effect type thing. We do run 4 of those. Next on the list, we've got Raccoon, the Musclehead. Raccoon is when you play, if your leader is a Ginyu Force card, which it is, then you get to play another Ginyu Force member with an energy cost of 2 or less. So playing a Raccoon will allow you to play Jace or Guldo or Birder from the hand, as long as when you play him, you've got one of the others in your hand. So we do run 4 of those. And then lastly but not least, as maybe one of the more versatile, we've got Birder, fastest in the universe. He's a blocker. So they're all 15,000, but he's got blocker. At the end of your turn, if he's in rest mode, you get to restand him back to active, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, and search them and kind of place them in the order that you want on the top or bottom, similar to the way that the others work. So we do run a 4-4-4 in that line. Do remember, if you don't restand him, the way that the card reads to me, if he's in active mode at the end of the turn and doesn't get the restand, you don't get the search. So you want to make sure to try to swing with Birder first so he gets that restand search. One other thing to keep in mind, all 4 of these Ginyu pieces have unique on them. So it's important to remember, if you've got a Raccoon, Jace, Guldo on the field, and you've got a Birder or Raccoon in hand, you can't play Raccoon to play another Birder. You would have to just play the Birder or combo the Raccoon off, then play the Birder or the Raccoon to get the Birder out. So you can only have 1 of each on the field at a time, but they're all 15,000. You're pretty much going to swing like a madman with these as they're out. Next, we've got 3 of Ginyu, Backbone of the Force. I've seen a lot of people running this at a 4 of, but if you're playing against a fairly competent deck, there's a good chance that they're going to try to keep you from getting all 4 out. Like, they will usually hit the Guldo and Birder as the top 2 priorities, because Birder's got the blocker on it. Guldo is the one that really lets you set up the way that your turn is going to go as far as draws. So if you're playing someone competent and the right type of deck, you'll never be able to get these cards out with much ease. But activate main, if you have at least 1 Raccoon, Jace, Birder, and Guldo card in your hand, or in play this from your hand. And if you do, you can't play this card for the rest of the term. So once per turn, you get to free play him. But the great thing is, when you free play him, you get to take control of one of your opponent's battle cards and then give your opponent control of him. So it's the body switch. We saw that the Clash of Fates Ginyu did the same thing. This does something really similar. So you're trading this for one of your opponent's battle cards. If your opponent has like a big triple strike or a quad strike or a triple attack on board, this is a great way to even the odds. If they've punished you in a turn and you've got all 4 Ginyus on the field, you can play this out, take it, punish your opponent a little bit. But we do only run 3 because we can only play it once per turn, and the conditions under which it has to be played is a little steep. At a 2-of, we run Ginyu the Body Snatcher. So this is the combo piece to Ginyu Backbone of the Force. So to start off, if you can send one of your opponent's battle cards on your side of the field to the drop area to play this card from your hand, it's 20,000 double strike. When it's played, it gives all of your Ginyu Force cards, including itself, an additional 10,000. So he becomes a 30,000 for the duration of the turn that he's played. It's a double strike. You can swing, activate battle, use the leader to give it 10,000. So then it's a 40,000 double strike that you paid no energy for, except for the 1 to give it the additional 10. Less infrequently played than Ginyu Backbone of the Force, but still just as valuable. We search and modulate the deck enough that we see these fairly easily if we are able to play them. And we are also modulate enough that if we're not in a position where we can just put these at the bottom and not worry about them. But we do run 2 of those. I don't feel like any more is needed with the way the deck runs. It's kind of Union Hatred. We've got Dodoria the Cold-Blooded. This is the same as the Kaba from set 1. Swing, take a life, 10,000 double strike. So this is more for Unison hate or that late game steal the win, or if we need to modulate the level of cards on the field, which I'll explain that caveat later. But just 2 of these, they don't come up often, don't use them often, but they are there just in case we do need them. The super combo of the deck that we're going to run is the Defending Father Paragus. This could absolutely be the 1-drop Lone Prince Vegeta. I just like the ability to dig with this. There's a lot of things that we don't need in hand that can just easily be warped out. And this just lets us dig and find things that are going to be more valuable. Good card is good. We'll probably be switching for the... What is the new one? Is it a Bibbidi in set 11? Bottom a card, then draw 2. Probably switching for that once that comes out. Then because we do run a Unison, we're going to take advantage of that fact. Butterfingers here, but we're going to run 4 of the Frieza Charismatic Villain. A good card is good counterplay. As long as you've got a Unison on the field with 2 or more markers, you can play this card. When you play this card, choose one of your opponent's battle cards. Energy cost 7 or less. KO it. One of the big problems with this card is once it's on the field, it's a 5-drop, 10,000. There's not a lot you can do with it. It doesn't provide additional pressure once it's on the field. You can't put it back into your hand with any ease as far as I can tell. So one of the things that we're going to use to take advantage of what it is we're going to run 2 of the Fuse Zamas Deity's Wrath. So the Fuse Zamas will let you get rid of the Frieza after you've played it. To play this, now you have an indestructible 20,000 that makes your opponent drop a card every time they swing. It's a ton of pressure. When I mentioned modulating the energy of the cards on the field with the Dodoria earlier, I was referring to this, because if you have two other Ginyu Force on the field, and you're going to be able to replay those same 2 Ginyu Force, and you've got a Dodoria in hand, you can put a Dodoria on the field, swing, get your swings off, then play Fuse the Moss, to open yourself up to be able to play other Ginyu Force. But we just use this. Good combo is good. You don't have to have the Fuse the Moss cards. They were expensive. They've dropped a little bit. You don't have to have them. I don't think they're integral to getting this deck to work. It's just more. It's more value. Maybe it's a win more card, but you don't have to have it. Definitely replaceable with other Dodorias or Zarbons or more of the Ginyus if that's more your flavor. One of the things the deck has trouble with is wide aggro. So we do run some of the Secret Identity Mass Sands. It's a free overwhelm. You need 6. When you play it, you get to choose cards on your opponent's side, battle cards on your opponent's side of the field, which energy add up to at least 6 or add up to 6. So it could be 4 or 5 or 6. And then KO them. So if you're playing against something like Pilaf, you get to play this, and they say they have the 3 mechs on the field. You get to pop all 3 mechs off the bat. Or if you're playing against Vegeks, and they've got like the blockers and the Kai combo pieces. You get to just blow a bunch of these up with this. These are really good. They come out of nowhere. If your opponent answers them, counterplays them, or negs them out as soon as they're played, it costs you nothing to do this because we don't care about our drop area after this card is gone. After a card hits the drop area in this deck, it's gone. We're not doing anything with it. So this costs us nothing to just get that quick, smooth pop. So 2 of those. Kind of an additional tech piece is Furthering Destruction Champa. This deck doesn't run a lot of crit, if any, I don't think. And it doesn't run much by the way of Double Striker, so being able to slide in double strikes when we need to is good. So we do run 2 of those. Last battle card in the deck is the Great Ape Mass Saiyan Primal Carnage. I've never actually read that card's name before, so sorry about that. We're hardly ever going to charge up to 5 energy to play this, so I'm not so much worried about that effect. I'm more worried about when you combo with this card. So you combo with it, you can place this card from your combo area to your drop area to pop 1 card on the field. That is the big effect that we're worried about. But if you did have to pay it, let's look at it. So for 5 energy, you get to play this card from your hand. It gains dual attack, triple strike for the turn. So if for some reason we're just playing a really solid deck, maybe Topo Lock or something like that, and we get up to 5 energy, we're able to play this, and then we're able to potentially do 6 damage worth on that 5th turn. Though I will confess I'm guilty of stopping, of not charging past like 3 or 4 energy in this deck, because you literally have nothing that you can do with 5 energy except for multiple small value plays. But usually if you're running the deck appropriately or you've got your opponent on the ropes, you aren't able to make those plays because you've already got your Ginyu Force on the field. But I love this super combo, or this, I said super combo, but I meant secret rare. It's kind of like your 5th super combo, really. Love this card. Might be the best secret rare out of set 10 as far as I'm concerned. The next one, we run kind of a weird variety of extra cards. We run 2 Dormant Potential Unleashed. This could absolutely be 3 of them. I think 4's overkill. I think 2 is probably an okay number. Not really worried about it too much. If you have a green Unison on the field, you can play it without activating its cost. Doesn't negate the attack that they swung on, but they only get 1 attack after that. So if they go wide and are just going to hit you 6 or 7 times, you can play this on that first attack. You only get 1 more attack, essentially buys you another turn to try to aggro them out. Next card is going to be For the Greater Good. This is essentially 2 negates in 1 card. Good card is good if you get your hand discarded and you've got this on the drop area. You've got a live drop area card from there. And last but not least is Pretty Black Hole. We use Pretty Black Hole because the Frieza charismatic villains are dead once they're on the field, and also the Fusamos are dead once. But they're not dead, but they're there. You know, they're not going anywhere. It's just another resource. It's another way to utilize Pretty Black Hole. So we do run 1 of those in the off chance that we do it. The deck doesn't really need a whole lot of negates. It likes to win on turn 3 or turn 4. If it's a really grindy match, you might go out longer than that. But that should be the deck. Like I said, if I win with it, it's in store championships, I will make a deck profile of that and bring it. If you guys want to see our take on store championship decks, make sure to let us know in the comments below. If you have any suggestions for this deck, let us know. This deck's been a lot of fun. Bancroft really wanted to make this one. I kind of took it from him. Sorry. Anyway, I think that's it for me. There's nothing else to do but the good old faithful. Read your cards, know your plays, and as always, bluff out.